Okay, so currently no one's here, but that's all right. Um, so what I'm hoping to get done today is hopefully I'll do a stream that doesn't last as long as last time because I'm only doing one model this time. But and I think it's a simpler model than the one I did. To be folding this little thing at the request of one of my friends. This right here. This is a license to fold, and this is a pretty small model, so I'm using this sheet of paper for the model. It's just a square as per usual. So why don't we just get started with it or something? Yeah. Okay, so you're here, you have this sheet of paper, you're contemplating what decisions have led you to watch some dude over the internet fold origami. Yeah, I've been there too. So the first thing you're going to do, though, is you're going to, like, at all, but that's okay. So yeah, you're wondering what, on the subject of wondering what decisions have brought you to this point. It's probably like, I got nothing better to do. Well, frankly, I think that a lot of us are like that in this time where just trying to find things to do, or maybe you're just here because I'm one of your friends, or you're related to me in some way, and for all of those reasons, I completely respect that. But there's a special thing about making stuff like this, and and I have rambled for far too long. So now what you're going to do is orient the paper like such, and you're going to take this edge right here and fold it to the center line like this. Then you're going to unfold it and do the same thing with this edge. Fold it down to this center line right here, or rather this diagonal line. Now what you're going to do is you're going to fold on the folds you just made from this point right here. Yep, right about here, down to the corners, and so it'll look something like this, right? You're going to fold both of them at the same time. You'll notice the model doesn't lie flat, but fold from the corners up to this center point, the point where they intersect, which should be this vertical center line. And then what you're going to do is fold along this line right here, and and then just try and start flattening it, and fold this flap to one side, flatten it, and there you go. Now you're going to take this flap, fold it to the other side. This is just going to make things a bit easier for us. And my paper is like this. And then you're going to bring it to the center so that it kind of stands up, and then press down as such. The thing about origami that makes it unique among art forms is that unlike some other arts, such as sculpting out of stone or or painting, which either take away from the material that you start with or add to it, with origami, a lot of it is you have to work with the material you're given. You can't add anything or take it away. And to me, that's what's beautiful out of it. You take something ordinary, and without anything else except a little bit of folding magic, you can make something beautiful. So I'm sorry for rambling yet again. What we're going to do is take we're going to actually not do that. We're going to take this edge right here and fold it up to the center line, but you're only going to crease it about halfway across the edge, like this. leave the rest of this unfolded so that you'll end up with a fold that goes from this corner right about to there, and it's okay if you fold the whole thing, but it's just something that you don't really need to do that as much. And then what you're going to do is take this edge here and fold it to the center. And again, we're not going to be creasing the whole thing. What we're going to be doing is folding from this top point and creasing up until it meets the fold that you just made. So right about there. And if I unfold it, you can see, or yeah, you can kind of see that there's a fold here and that there's a fold here, and they extend a little bit, but not that much. Anyway, what we're going to do then is fold from that intersection right there down to this down to this bottom corner. So something like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to collapse the paper on the folds that you just made. So, and this, and then flatten this, like this area around here. Again, you're going to fold up, and then fold down all along the creases that you've just made. And then what you're going to do is do the same thing that you did on this side, on this side. And if you have to unfold this a little bit to get at this first initial step, that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to first fold the edge up to the center line, like so. Again, not folding the whole way, but only about halfway, or a bit more if that's what you fancy. Then this edge down to the center line, like so, and then you're just going to fold up until you can make an intersection with the fold that you just made. So again, it's going to be right here, and then you're going to fold from that point down to this bottom point here. And then we'll refold that and then you're going to fold all three of the folds you just made at the same time. So this, and this, and then flatten it, and you'll end up with something that looks kind of like this. Actually, it should look like this if you've done everything right, but unless you're super experienced and you know this model, you're probably not going to get it right the first time, and that's okay. The first time isn't really meant to be like instant success. Y'all ever heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day? Well, it takes practice. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this flap right here and fold it upwards as far as it will go. What you'll notice here is that on this flap here, the paper is completely stretched out. You can't stretch it any further, otherwise it'll rip or it'll make the model not flat. You're going to do the same thing on this side, folding up the flap as far as it will go. So it should look something like this. Now what you're going to do is take these edges that are at the center and fold them so that they line up with this top edge right here. So you're going to take that and fold it like so. This is what we call doing an angle bisector, because we're folding so that we cut that little angle in half. Unfold it and then do the same thing on the other side. All right, now what you're going to do is take this flap here, lift it up a little bit, and then we're going to rotate it a bit to the side for a better view. You're going to fold in on the creases that you just made. So along this and along this crease right here. And you'll have to reverse the direction of this crease. So as you can see right now, it's a mountain. You're going to have to make it a valley like that. And then you just fold in like so. Push down and flatten. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, you're going to want to reverse the direction of this crease up here. And then fold down along this line. And then fold down along this crease and then flatten. And I'm a bit off with my crease, but that's okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this flap here and pull it outward so that it sits on top of what it used to be, but it's going to be behind these like this. And now you're going to fold the entire thing in half. It's going to look something like this. Have a thick point up here at the top, two wings right here. These will become the wings of the dragon, and down here, that's a long, thin point, thinner point. That's going to be the tail of the dragon. So what you're going to do now is with the tip facing away from you, it is facing towards me because I am folding this upside down. With the tip facing towards you, you're going to take this top edge, or with the tip facing away from you, you're going to take this top edge right here and fold it so that it lies on this long edge. And you'll notice that when I do it, this flap right here comes loose. That is perfectly natural, and we want that to happen. And you'll notice that when I fold it, this point out here also lines up with this edge. So it'll look something like this. You're going to turn the paper over and repeat the same thing. So this edge onto this line. And so you should have something that looks sort of like this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open up this flap a little bit and then take your finger and sort of push in this piece of paper. And we're going to, basically this edge is going to line up with this edge right here. So it should look something like this. And then up here, once the fold from down there reaches this point right here, you're going to make a crease from that point right here to this point. So it will look like this. This is going to become the foot of the dragon, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So open it up slightly, push the paper in, and then fold, and then move the edge to line up on this main line here. And then fold a crease from that point there to this point here, and that's the foot basically. And yeah, that's so it's going to look something like this later, like if you've done everything right. Now, so now what we're going to do is we're going to allow for a little bit of details to be formed. We're going to take this flap and make a fold from this point here down to this point here. So it will look something like this. And you are, of course, going to do this on the other side. But before we do that, what we need to do one thing more. And that's taking this edge right here and folding it down to this edge right here. You'll notice it's only partly showing, and that's fine. We're just going to fold it down like this. And it should look something like this once you're done. You're going to turn the paper over and do the same thing. So we're folding from this point here down to this point here. So like this, and then taking this thing, this edge right here, and folding it down to this little piece right here. That's another angle bisector. And once you've done that, the model is going to look something like this. Now we're going to do a little bit of work on the head. So you're going to, with the model open like, with the model facing like this, we're going to open it up, take this little piece here, and bring it out. You'll notice that there is a crease here that looks like a valley well. You're going to want to reverse that like that. Then with that, and then pulling this as far as you can without applying too much tension, you're going to pull and then close on the halfway line so that it looks something like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this edge down here up to this line right here. That's another angle bisector, but you're only going to fold it in this little segment right here and only the top layer. So you'll have to do a little bit of maneuvering to get it right, but if you do it like this, that's the best way you can do it. So you can see I've got an angle bisector going from between this edge, and that's it right there. You're going to do the same thing on the other side, and you'll notice the model will not lie flat at this point in time. And then what you're going to do is from the place where this crease right here, you can kind of see it on the video, and from where this crease right here meets the crease you just made, you're going to fold it at the same angle as you did with this. So it's going to, an easy way to do it is to just bring this whole complex over and flatten it like this. And you'll notice it's not going to be an exact angle. You're just going to make it as close as you can get because it's going to end up hitting this thing right here. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then the head might have already fallen into place when you did that, but if it didn't, you're just going to take your fingers like this and push it into place like so. So then you ask yourself, now what, right? Well, what we're going to do now is open it from this angle, the model from this angle. So if it looks like this, you're going to open it from this side. And then there's no proportions at this and for this fold. So you can just fold it however you wish to fold it, however you want your dragon to look. You're going to push a finger down at some point up here, close the rest of the model, and then then you'll notice that two folds want to be made right here. You're going to press down on those folds a little bit to reinforce them, and then push on the head portion right here. Push on it so that, and push on it, but also keep a finger here so that it will, so that your hard work doesn't come apart instantly. And then you'll keep pushing until you get to the amount you desire. That's what I think that looks good for me. And then you're just going to flatten it. And then you can make crease adjustments as you wish if it's lopsided. So that's what it's going to look like now. And again, if you need a bit more help on it, you're going to open it up from here, press down, close, and bring the whole head down like that. Now we're going to fold the wings a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold from this point up here. You'll notice there's a small triangle. fold along this edge of the triangle all the way down the wing. So you'll have something like this. Fold it a bit better than that. Yeah, fold it a bit harder. Yeah, so it'll look something like this. Then you'll make another fold from this point right here down to the point of the lower point of the crease you just made. So the fold will look like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to fold on this fold that you just made. So it'll look like that, and then fold this the second fold that you also made like this, and then bring that fold over to this line right here. So something sort of like this. Then you're going to take this flap and fold it so that the fold that you make lines up with this triangle right here. Should look something like this. Take this flap and fold it over as well, so that the fold you make lines up with this back edge. And then do that 2 more times. So fold so that it lines up with this edge right here, and then fold so that this edge lines, and so that the fold lines up with the back edge. So you'll get something like this, and you might notice mine isn't exact, but that's perfectly fine. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to fold from this point up here along this edge. Unfold, fold from this point down here, down to here. Fold over, fold this up a little bit, bring the edge over to this edge right here. So it looks something like this. Take this flap, fold it over so that the fold meets that edge right there. Fold the flap over again so that it matches this edge. And then do that 2 more times. So folding it over so that it lines up with that. And then folding again over so it lines up with the back. And those are the wings. They will get, and those are all the folds we'll need to make for the wings. We just have a few bits left. What you're going to do is, from the back of the model, open it up slightly, hold the tail like this, and push it upwards. And you'll notice that there are folds wanting to be made from these 2 points up here down to a single point in the middle. Well, you're going to basically position the tail however you want it to be in the finished model, and then flatten it like so. It'll look something like this, and then just flatten it again. Your tail will look like this. Now for the feet, you're going to take this foot right here and fold it up so that the fold matches the tail that you just folded up. This is how we'll make it stand. Do the same thing on this side. And then if you unfold the feet, but only to 90 degrees, you'll notice the thing stands. Obviously, we can still do some more detailed work though. What we're going to do is take this top bit and you're going to push it down, and you may notice that there's a fold that wants to be made from this point right here to this point, or somewhere around that. That's the fold that you're going to make. So like this, and then on the other side, same thing. So the model will look like this. Now from the middle, you're going to take this center piece, reverse the direction of the crease so it was a valley when you did that last fold. Now make it a mountain, and then flatten so that this edge lines up with these 2 edges right here. And that's it for the back of the head. Now the front of the head, there's no proportions here, but you're going to pinch the beak almost like this and try and get your fingernail into the top of the beak like so, and then use another finger, squish down and reinforce it so it looks like that. Then with this at the front, you're going to take this point and do a small mountain fold back. It'll look something like this. Now on the original model, you might have noticed that there are some eyes. There are some eyes on the thing, and in order to make the eyes, we're going to basically make some curves on the paper. So we're going to take this flap and bend it up a little bit and curve and make a sort of curve shape with the fold. So it will look something like this. Open it up and do the same thing on the bottom flap, but you're going to pull it down instead of up, obviously. And if it's not satisfactory to you, you can just keep adjusting those two folds until you make a good eye. There, I'm happy with that. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. And again, so you're going to push this edge up on a curve, and then this edge down also on a curve. It's going to look like this. Now, at the front here, we're going to take these little flaps right here. You see them? And what we're going to do is we're going to open up behind that flap a bit and then fold this flap inside. So like this, it's easier to attack it from here. We're going to open it up here and then fold this point inside, like so. Again, open it up like this and fold this flap inside, like so. We're almost done. What you're going to do is push in on this area right here. So open it from the back a little bit, go back to the front, and you're going to gather those layers here together and sort of just push. I like to do it along these edges right here, but you can push in however much you want. This will make the thing a bit more 3D. So it'll look something sort of like this once it's done. Once you've done that, then you're going to just take the wings, refold them if they got a bit unfolded, and spread them out a bit like this. One last thing, and that's the tail. You're going to look at the tail from the bottom and put a finger in one of the right here, and then you're going to push down a bit on the center crease, make it flat like this. Use 2 more fingers and hold it at the back, and then push against those 2 fingers so that you get something like this. And then what I like to do is I like to curl the tail like this and hold it for a few seconds and then uncurl and let go so that the tail looks curved like this. And that's how you do it. And that's the dragon. All right. I wanted to thank you all for watching this tutorial, and hopefully it inspires you to make something, or like do something during this time of crisis. Basically, what was I trying to get at? Origami is one of those things that you just need paper for. You don't like necessarily you don't have to add to it or take away from it by much the same that you would say sculpting or painting, things like that. And yeah, making stuff during this time, it's One of my professors says that it's a way to combat weightlessness or a feeling that you don't carry weight just because you're not making something. Well, the easiest way to combat that is making something. See you next week at the same time. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't take me down either. Thanks.